Is your boss white? Huh. Okay, so what kind of questions does she ask?
Good afternoon, LEC community. Thanks for joining us for a virtual career fair designed for aspiring and current Latinx education professionals in K-12. My name is Edgar Palacios. I'm the founder of the Latinx Education Collaborative. I'm here with our Chief Community Officer, Susana. How are you doing, Susana?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you so much for joining us and for being a part all day, Susana. But
of course,
I'm excited to welcome Sabrina Castro with City Year. Hey, Sabrina, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing well. So happy to be here.
Yay.
Glad you were able to join us, and we will jump right in. So, Sabrina, tell us a little bit more about City Year.
Yeah, so City Year is a national education organization, and we hire and train young people, 18 to 25-year-olds, to serve in schools for a year in order to help students in those schools stay in school and on track to graduate. So our City Year AmeriCorps members serve as tutors, mentors, success coaches alongside teachers in order to provide supplemental support in the classroom.
That's great. I know that your population of fellows, right, is what they're called, are really diverse. So I have a question. How do you support Latinx people in your program?
Yeah, absolutely. So our learning and development director here at CYKC, Selena Rios, who I think you both know, serves on the board for LEC and offers direct support to our Latinx members through various things, things like advocating for our members to attend Evolucion, which happens in the fall, a conference for Latinx educators for their professional development. Also Amplify, which happens in the spring. Again, another conference specifically for educators of color in order to build community, but also professional development there. So two great examples of how we support our educators. But in addition to that, we offer our AmeriCorps members our City Year AmeriCorps members affinity group spaces during their ongoing training. So these spaces are specifically for our Latinx identifying AmeriCorps members to build community with our other Latinx members, but also just to have a space where they feel like they can be authentically themselves and share out and build community and connect with other Latinx members within our City Year community.
I appreciate that. First, I would be remiss if I didn't say that we absolutely love Selena. She's actually our board chair. And so I always appreciate her feedback and her advice and her championship of the LEC and of City Year as well. Tell us a little bit about what kind of opportunities are available if I'm interested in joining City Year.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I mentioned, we're hiring City Year AmeriCorps members to serve in one of the 7 schools where we work with Kansas City Public Schools and also KIPP Endeavor Academy. We're hiring for those positions. City Year AmeriCorps members, we have 66 positions available in Kansas City. And so we are working to fill those positions and have all the support we need for our students here in Kansas City. And those positions would start in July.
Now, one little follow-up question to that. What would qualify me to be a fellow? Is there an age limit? Is there a degree qualification, anything like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we hire 18 to 25-year-olds. Generally, people tend to think of our program as a gap year, specifically if they're thinking of heading on to graduate school or something like that. But it is for young leaders, as I mentioned, the 18 to 25-year-olds. Due to federal guidelines, someone must be a U.S. citizen or legal resident to serve with us, since we are serving with AmeriCorps. But in addition to that, we're looking for young people that are passionate about affecting change through education, accepting this challenge that we've offered to them to help our students in our schools. Having leadership experience is always a plus. Having worked with students before as a tutor or as a mentor, and any experience working on a diverse team is also a plus.
That's great. Now, if I'm listening and I have qualified for those qualifications, what qualities and skills should I possess that would make the best fit for your organization?
Yeah, we are looking for tenacious young leaders who have a lot of grit, who have the ability to persist through challenge, the ability to offer grace, really those things I mentioned as well, right? You want to be able to work well on a team, specifically if you've had any experience working in the classroom as a tutor with young children or children, and then really just if you've had prior service experience. We are a service organization. The heart of what we do is through service. So if you've had any experience with service, that's also a really great perk.
I appreciate you sharing that. Can you talk a little bit about what it is to be a part of AmeriCorps and what kind of benefits come along with that?
Sure, absolutely. So AmeriCorps, for anyone who may be tuning in who doesn't know, it's kind of helpful to think of it as like the Peace Corps, but within the United States. So AmeriCorps is this national civic service organization, and serving with them offers some pretty great perks. Not only that you get to help support communities that need additional support, like in our schools, but you also get some pretty great perks like a $6,000 scholarship. So when you're done, that scholarship is yours to use either toward previous student loans if you have them, or toward furthering your education. We also, on the same vein within furthering education, we have partnerships with about 120 universities who offer tuition remission if we have AmeriCorps members who are going on to graduate school. So it's a great way to reduce the cost or even eliminate the cost of graduate school. You're paid a biweekly living stipend, so that comes in the form of a paycheck each or every 2 weeks, so it's biweekly. And then speaking specifically to, Kansas City community in general, we have some really great partnerships with places like Community America, the Kauffman Foundation, the Chiefs. So it's a really great place for a young professional to start building those important connections for their leadership after our program. And also, of course, it doesn't hurt to maybe get to attend a Chiefs game.
I appreciate that. Those sounds like some relatively great perks. I really, I'm surprised and by the $6,000 education award that comes along with that. I was an AmeriCorps member way back in the day, and I think it was definitely not that amount. So I'm excited that has grown a little bit, and rightfully so.
We have important advocates that have really led the charge for that. So
that's cool. Now let me ask you a question. So how long have you been with City Year? What's your experience with the organization?
Yeah, so I have been almost 2 years now. So I'm kind of unique in our organization in that I didn't actually serve with City Year. I served with a different AmeriCorps program. But my journey here kind of made it through that. So I used to work in preschools in order to help preschoolers enter school prepared to succeed. And through that other AmeriCorps program, which was called Jumpstart, I learned about City Year and the work that they were doing first in New York City. And then when I found out that the same work was being done in my hometown of Kansas City, when I moved home, I knew that I needed to look them up and see if there was a way I could be a part of it.
I appreciate that call out to Jumpstart. That was actually the AmeriCorps program that I served in. So
really?
I had a blast. It was fun. I was a terrible Jumpstarter, I'm sure, but I greatly appreciated the opportunity and the ability to serve in that capacity. So that's so awesome.
Yeah.
I know City Year does a lot of great work around building equity and talking, and I'm familiar with some of your professional development opportunities as well. Can you talk a little bit from your perspective as to why representation matters, and particularly from the values of the organization?
Sure. Yeah. We think a lot about our schools and our identities and how we connect those things and going into our schools. And we want to make sure that we have mentors and tutors in our schools that can educate our students, but also where our students can see themselves and reflected in the leaders and the people that are connecting with them and the people that, frankly, they build really strong connections with. We find that our City Year members occupy this very unique space in that they're not a teacher, but they're still an authority figure. Sometimes I like to say that our AmeriCorps members are within the age range that they're still cool and hip, so they can connect with our students. But I think that representation and having Latinx educators, having our AmeriCorps members reflect our students and able to, since they're making those strong and important connections, is wonderful for our students because they can start to see themselves in the leaders that they see every day.
Awesome. Just quickly, before we transition to a couple of other questions, just want to bring this up. If you are interested in engaging with City Year, here are their social media accounts. Feel free to follow them virtually. Also, we will be putting a link to the opportunities available at City Year in our comments, as well as a form that if you want to engage with City Year directly, that we'll be happy to connect you to Sabrina on your behalf. So want to make sure that we do that call to action to our community. Susanna, any questions that you might have?
You know, it comes to mind as a teacher, what should I expect if I'm a fellow as far as building a relationship with my lead teacher?
Yeah, we find that relationship to be very important. Obviously, we're working alongside teachers. We're working with Kansas City Public Schools. And so we spend some time allowing our AmeriCorps members to get to know their teachers, to really, even before school starts, to make sure that that connection is started positively. And just, we always talk about founding it right. It's one of our beliefs here at City Year. And so we make time for that connection to make sure we founded it right and it's strong before the students even come into the picture. And then obviously throughout the year, keeping the ongoing feedback and an open line of communication from our AmeriCorps member and the partner teacher that they work with.
That's great.
So as we kind of near the end of our conversation, are there any comments or any additional information that you want to share with the community that we may not have covered?
Yes, I was remembering this. I forgot one very great perk that AmeriCorps offers, and that is that your health insurance is provided for you while you serve. So wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. But I think, lastly, I think what I just want to leave everyone with is that City Year itself is a great organization, but City Year Kansas City is a wonderful place to serve and get to do this work. We have a relatively small site, but that enables us to build connection with each other. 66 AmeriCorps members get to know each other very well. We have a staff of about 20 people who are dedicated and just really driven to support our Corps members. So if you are a young leader out there and you're wanting to start your career and head into education, or really just head into wherever you head after City Year and in your leadership, Kansas City is a great space to do that. And you have a staff there to support you throughout the process.
That is so awesome. And one thing that I love about City Year is that it's 18 to 25, right? And so this is a great opportunity for folks who might be interested in education, but may not want to like completely commit to it, to step in and see what that environment looks like.
Absolutely. And I'm sure that you both know, I mean, you learn so many things from working in a school and with students. And if that means you're going to be an educator afterwards, wonderful. If that means you want to do something else, you want to affect change in a different way, then you've had this experience to help bolster that. So it's really, our AmeriCorps members go on to do wonderful things. And sometimes they're in the classroom and sometimes they're in advocacy.
Both equally important. So yeah. Sabrina, thank you so much for being with us today and sharing a little bit about City Year. We really sincerely appreciate you sharing with our community.
Yes, thank you so much. I was happy to be here.
Thank you, Sabrina.
Awesome. Have a great day.
You too.